on this cool winter day, let's discuss an interesting topic. What I want to talk about today is some of the red flags when you're talking to clients. So let's say you're reading an email from a client and maybe you're on a Zoom call or something like that and you discuss on your project. And maybe the client is like either new contact at a firm or they're just new client in general, and there's certain things they may say that should make you stop and question everything. That's kind of what I want to discuss. When is it the time when you just stop listening to client and following exactly what they say and start going like, whoa, maybe this person doesn't know as much as they think they do, and maybe I should question some of those things. So let's talk about it. One of the earlier videos I did on this channel is talking about time zones. And when a client is asking for mixed time zones in a same case, that's a huge red flag. Sometimes you'll be discussing something like, okay, we're getting custodians from here, we're getting custodians from there, and the client's like, oh yeah, let's process these custodians in Pacific time zone and these in Eastern. As soon as you hear that, there's probably something wrong, and you should stop and question the client. Are you sure that's what you want to do? While on some level it does seem to make sense to process different custodians who reside in different time zones in their own time zones, it actually doesn't make sense for the case overall. It's just going to be more difficult to deal with data. You wouldn't be able to sort everything chronologically. You have to keep track of where the people are coming from, and the review team will have difficulty trying to correlate the time when things were sent and received. And because of that, I always encourage to standardize on one time zone for the case. Now, some vendors like to push UTC time zone a lot. They're like, no, we'll do everything UTC, everything is standard. And that makes things easier for them because they don't have to worry about it. Just process UTC and done. But I say you can pick a time zone that makes sense. So for example, if the main office of the company that is part of the case is, let's say, on the East Coast, and the review is happening on the East Coast, and maybe there are only a couple of employees like in different offices throughout US, well, the main time zone should be Eastern, and everything should be standardized to that. And this way, if you need to put things in the chronological order, you'll be able to. And it's just everything's just gonna make more sense to you and to the review team. And so that is my first red flag, is multiple time zones per workspace. If you hear that, question it and make a suggestion that you should standardize everything on one. And if the client insists, fine, do what they want. And the next red flag is when client starts to mention PDFs. And usually it relates to a production. When they say, we're going to produce as PDF, or we're going to request the other side to produce PDFs, or something like that. As soon as you hear that, stop and ask them, hey, hold on. PDFs is not the best format for any kind of productions. If you produce in PDFs, it is for a person who is outside legal, somebody who just wants to open PDFs on their computer and kind of quickly look at them, maybe like I don't know, somebody who wants to sit on their iPad next to a pool and kind of scroll through documents. In litigation, PDFs is actually a pretty bad file format to use for production. So what you should do is ask, is there an ESI stipulation? Like, are there any kind of standards that parties agreed on as to how documents should be produced? And oftentimes you'll find that there are. And you can ask them, say, hey, can we take a look at it? And then you can read and say, well, actually, instead of PDFs, what it says here that we should be producing TIFFs and that file and this and that. Would you like me to follow this format? And they'll be like, oh, yeah, that's a great idea. Do that. So that's my next red flag. When you hear PDFs, stop, question it. Try to get some kind of ESI agreement that may be in place to get the production specifications. And again, if the client insists on doing PDFs, totally fine. Ask them if they want them searchable, non-searchable, charge extra for OCR, and ship it out. Another third red flag may get a few people offended, but you know what? That's what we're here for. We're saying the truth here. And so the red flag I want to talk about is if you're on the phone with the client and they start conversation with stating their credentials. I've been doing programming for this many years, oh, I'm technical and I should understand this. Or I've been doing lit support for 25 years and I've been this and this. As soon as you hear somebody starting a conversation with stating their credentials and talking about how qualified they are, that's a really good indication that they're probably not. Of course, there is no need to get mean to them or anything like that, but what you should do is realize that they're probably trying to overcompensate for something, and they don't know as much as they claim to. So you should be double checking everything they say, making sure that things they say do make sense, have everything in writing, and do basically all the usual things. But again, that's one of those red flags that it should get triggered on me when somebody starts a conversation with their credentials. So those are the things that make me stop and question everything. But what about you? What are some of the red flags that you know of that make you stop and question your clients? Put them on the comment section below. Don't forget to follow on LinkedIn, subscribe on YouTube, and I will see you on another video.